And so in terms of rights, that is one of them, that all rights will be taken into account. Our Children's Department official has spoken about the importance of inclusivity, as did Lisa Collins. So inclusivity means that you're giving education that doesn't leave out anybody, that includes the question of language, how you can get an education in a language that you understand, but also an important aspect of inclusivity has to do with the issue of ensuring that the education we are giving our children is relevant. This is one of the issues that is highlighted in this year's theme from the Africa Union, that the education has to be lifelong and it has to be relevant. And these are part of the issues around education justice that the children of Soweto were talking about in 1976. They did not want to be taught in a foreign language known as Afrikaans. Here, of course, we teach our children in English and Kiswahili. Kiswahili is not a foreign language, it's one of our languages, but we have also relegated our mother tongue in a manner that perhaps we should reconsider in terms of providing education that is inclusive. The other issue which the governor has asked me to highlight is his commitment to ensure not just relevant but also quality education that will produce and that will lead us back to the time when Siaya was the factory, the intellectual factory of the country. Much like our Nyathi and Mwandu program, if we rest on our laurels as we did, or as even the system ignored certain parts of the country, Siaya was the intellectual factory of this country, but as noted in the manifesto, in the Nyalore manifesto, that is no longer the case. So we need to go back there where we are producing those doctors, those lawyers, those engineers, but also now with emerging new areas, we need to see our students get more into sciences, get more into ICT and new technologies. So we want to be that intellectual factory for producing those experts. The last year's theme for the Day of the Child was eliminating harmful social and cultural practices that affect our children. And it behooved us to look at our collective responsibility. What is our collective responsibility as the community to ensure that our children are safe? The county commissioner has highlighted all the challenges, so I will not repeat those, but just to say that our honorable members of the county assembly, Women's Caucus, led here by Honorable Mercedes Madoro, are very involved in initiating and advocating against the triple threat that the county commissioner spoke about. Now, in advocating against this triple threat, the most vulnerable are our children and girls. But even boys are also subject to these threats, because when HIV is on the increase, both boys and girls will get infected. Sexual violence and defilement of minors and domestic violence and gender-based violence is also affecting both boys and girls. Of course, adolescent pregnancies, although it manifests in girls, there is always another party. Girls don't get pregnant by themselves, right? And Siaya is unfortunately not doing very well in this area, and we are committed as advocates, and I will work very closely with the Honorable Mercedes and the Women's Caucus of the County Assembly and other leaders to go around our county advocating against this triple threat and looking towards how we can introduce policy initiatives that will help us to deal with this triple threat. Otherwise, then educating the child is also going to be affected by this triple threat.
We gather here today to commemorate the Day of the African Child 2024, a significant moment to reflect on the progress and confront the challenges in realizing the right to education by African children across Africa. This day holds special significance as it marks a decade since our collective effort began in 2014 to strengthen educational opportunities of all African children. This year's theme, Education for All Children in Africa, the time is now, resonate well with broader African Union theme for 2024, which says, educate an African fit for the 21st century, which underscores the urgency of building a resilient education system that ensures increased access to inclusive, long-life, quality, and relevant learning opportunities for all. It's important to remind ourselves that education is not just a goal, but also a fundamental right enshrined in the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Child as Article 11.1 unequivocally states that every child shall have right to education regardless of their background, status, or circumstances. Education is the cornerstone in realization of all other rights and in fighting discrimination. Therefore, it is our sole duty to ensure that this right is upheld without exception. The urgency in providing education for all children is emphasized by the critical role education plays in the development of our children and in addressing emerging challenges. Education is also imparting knowledge and empowering our children to lead fulfilling lives and contribute meaningfully to the society. Ladies and gentlemen, closer home, the African child in the LREV region also faces profound challenges that demand our urgent attention. The girl child faces triple threats: teenage pregnancy, HIV and AIDS, and female genital mutilation, coupled with early marriages which rob girls of educational opportunities and increase their vulnerability to health risks, thus perpetuating cycles of poverty and gender inequality. Further, menstrual poverty denies girls access to menstrual hygiene products and adequate sanitation facilities, hindering their ability to participate fully in school and day life. The boy child, too, is predisposed to drugs and substance abuse, criminal gangs, and insecurity that pose a severe threat, impacting their safety, development, and prospects. In unsafe neighborhoods, they are often coerced into criminal activities, exposing them to violence, trauma, constant fear, displacement, psychological distress, and disrupted schooling. For us to fully support our children in LREV region, we must apply a multifaceted approach to come up with gender-sensitive social policies and regulatory framework to support the implementation of various educational activities tailored to nurturing the holistic development of the African child. As leaders from the region, we will leverage the LREV education pillar to forge partnership and champion education reforms to bolster education policies and ensure their effective implementation. This includes initiatives to retain the management of early childhood development centers within our county governments. As a member of the Council of Governors Education Committee, we recently proposed to have the management of over 30,000 ECDs to remain in the county government as opposed to reverting to the national government. I also submit my recommendation to the Presidential Working Party on education reforms for consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, investing in education ensures equitable access to quality education for all our children, irrespective of their background. We can pave the way for sustainable development, economic growth, and a brighter future for generations to come. It's quite encouraging that education sector was highly prioritized in the just presented budget estimates for the 2024-2025 financial year. Reciprocally, as LREP counties, we will ensure that these aspirations will ultimately manifest as tangible advancement in the education sector, including curriculum reforms to be more relevant and responsive to current and future needs. Enhancing teacher training, expanding access to quality education in underserved areas, and promoting lifelong learning. While the current school enrollment rates are commendable, retention and transition underscores the need for targeted intervention and innovative solutions. We must therefore look for innovative ways to bridge this discrepancy. In Bomet, we have pioneered the free milk school feeding program that benefits over 50,000 children twice a week in all our 1,233 ECD schools, ensuring they are nourished and retained in school. Our bursary and scholarship program have also supported 1,000 bright and needy students pursue their studies in secondary schools for the last 6 years. Such programs exemplify our dedication to inclusive education where no child is left behind. Finally, let us renew our determination to uphold the rights of every child to education. Let us continue tracking our progress, gather data, and refine our strategies to ensure that our effort translates into meaningful outcomes for our children. Let us critically review our education system, including early childhood development, curriculum development, to ensure alignment with constitutional provisions and internationally recognized norms for education. Education remains our beacon of hope. As such, let us elevate the discourse on children's rights and reinvigorate our resolve to overcome the barriers that hinder their access to education. Together, we can build a future where African child thrives.
There's a project we are implementing in Sarah County in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation, and our aim to address the rate of teenage pregnancy in the county. And our county commissioner, we are keen on addressing the challenge of the 21% girls who are out of school because of teenage pregnancy. And we are running a campaign of bringing them back to school. So it's something that we are doing, and we are calling upon the whole county to support us in that.
Yakasumbi tuharakishe, let us have the urge as the moral. Before Emmanuel Bondo Township with a dance, they get ready then. After Nyakasumbi, we'll have Bondo Township with a dance, then we have Emmanuel.
We have our chief of staff for the service of the thank you. And because they are giving us the chance, I will ask them in commission function. I will pay in my duty if I get appreciation and recognize. so that we can proceed with the rest of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day where we are celebrating. Makofi. Thank you very much, Fawe, for a good gift for the people of CI.
Let me just stand there. Mr. Munga, Fawek, we want to say thank you very much for this gift. Honorable Mercedes will tell you that we are now thinking.
The curriculum we are launching today is for training purposes, for capacity building, for policy makers and other stakeholders. We have curriculum experts that have come up with this curriculum